Right now at 10, search and rescue efforts continue following the deadly tornado outbreak Friday night.
Many may be familiar with the mining history of southeast Kansas, but not as many are aware of the women fighting for better conditions. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with their side of history.
Also, Missouri Southern's choir holds their first concert in more than a year. And Santa makes a stop in Parsons at a place specially designed just for him.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Chris Warner. The search continues for a man who escaped from the Ottawa County Jail. According to the Ottawa County Sheriff's Office, at around 1 a.m. yesterday, Charles Chuck Chance escaped from the Ottawa County Jail. Chance was last seen wearing a white t-shirt and gray sweatpants. He's described as a white male, approximately 5'10", around 200 pounds, brown hair and blue eyes. Authorities say he was last seen in the North Miami area. If you have any information on his location, you're urged to contact the Ottawa County Sheriff's Office at 918-542-2806, or you can call Central Dispatch at 918-542-5585. And the Miami Police Department is investigating a shooting in the southeast part of town. According to police, officers responded to a residence in the southeast part of the city regarding a shooting. Now, when they arrived, they found a victim with a single gunshot wound, and he was transported by ambulance for further treatment. Authorities are investigating and not releasing any other details. And the desperate search for survivors continues as more than 100 people are feared dead after historic tornadoes devastated Kentucky and a string of states in the Midwest and South. CBS News correspondent Laura Podesta is at the center of the damage in Mayfield, Kentucky.
Joyful and triumphant.
Less than 2 weeks before Christmas, two congregations prayed outside the ruins of this church in Mayfield, Kentucky Sunday.
A part of us has been taken.
The community is grieving after Friday night's massive tornado leveled the small city.
There are tears, but there are also hugs.
Search and rescue workers looking for survivors across the region are battling against time and hoping for miracles.
Our emergency management people are out there going door to door, but there aren't any doors.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear warns the state's death toll could top 100.
A lot of this is going through the blocks and the rubble, if you can reach it, and trying to see if there are people there, dead or alive.
The twister wiped out a candle factory where more than 100 people worked ahead of the holidays. Authorities found 40 survivors there on Saturday.
It is insane what Mother Nature did in just a span of minutes.
11 shelters and state parks will give refuge to people whose homes were leveled or damaged.
My back door blowed in my face, the glass.
66-year-old Mayfield resident Janet Kemp's home was hit, but it's still standing.
And we got down over our dogs, and we were both praying.
More than a dozen people died in 5 other states, including at least 6 in Illinois, where an Amazon warehouse in Edwardsville was ripped apart. Laura Podesta, CBS News, Mayfield, Kentucky.
President Biden said his administration would do everything it can possibly do to help the states hit by the tornado. Today's weather considerably more peaceful than that was, and a little bit chilly, but not bad. Nick Kelly.
Yeah, thankfully the skies were a continuation of the other day, Chris. Calm and just about as blue as we could get. And even when it's dark outside, at least we're keeping things quiet as we go deeper into the night ahead of us. 55, that was a good jump for the afternoon high today after we started at 29, which is pretty much where we should be for this time of the year. We've had, thankfully, nothing to track throughout the course of the day. We had clear skies all day. We're sticking with mainly clear skies as we go through the night. A quick look at the surface map. High pressure, even though it's well to the east of us, it is keeping that southerly wind in gear, and that is doing the trick to keep us primarily in the upper 30s to lower 40s. This is where we're going to pretty much hold as we go through the overnight. Joplin will bottom out at 39 degrees, but everybody, once we get past sunrise, that southerly breeze, despite some afternoon clouds, we will go into the upper 50s by noon and pushing highs near 63. So we got a mild day ahead of us, Chris, as the new work week gets underway. We'll see how the rest of the week shaping up here in a bit.
All right, Nick, thank you. 100 years ago today, miners in southeast Kansas faced hazardous working conditions for little pay. And thanks to a group of women, that was able to change. KOM's Bronte Sorotsky visited the Miners Hall Museum in Franklin to learn about a group of women who paved the way for labor reform in southeast Kansas.
Southeast Kansas is known for its history of coal mining and immigrant heritage. But what many may not know about are a group of women in the area who made history. Let's go back 100 years.
Ending our year with a look at the importance and the impact of what these women did here on this very day in December of 1921.
This group of women, named the Amazon Army, were made up of thousands of wives, sisters, mothers, and daughters of Southeast Kansas coal miners who were on strike.
We're celebrating the fact that over 2,000 to 6,000 women got together at a time when it was very difficult to even communicate with each other. No internet, no cell phones, and they banded together in solidarity to really march against an unfair labor act and to support their men. And in the end, their march proved to be very successful.
Linda Knoll, a historian at the Miners Hall Museum in Franklin, presented the facts of the March of the Amazon Army to a group who came to learn more about the women. Also in attendance was Andy Kennedy, whose great-grandmother marched in the Amazon Army herself. Kennedy was searching for more details on her great-grandfather when she made a big discovery.
And didn't know anything about my great-grandfather other than that he had been killed in a mining dispute. So wanting to know his family, where they were from. When I did write to the Kansas Genealogy Society, I just sent an email, and then they connected me over the phone. One of the women said, I know you're looking for information on your great-grandfather. But did you know that your great-grandmother marched in the Amazon Army? And I said, what? Right?
That's when she learned about the marches that took place.
Shocking, yeah. I'm actually putting it into a novel because it's just such an amazing story. She was definitely a pistol of a woman.
What Knoll wanted for more people to know about this group of iconic Southeast Kansas women was able to come to life.
I am just pleased to have this opportunity. We had a speaker series. All year long we had speakers. People came to the museum. They all enjoyed the stories. And it's actually the day of one of their marches where 2,000 to 3,000 of them were out marching.
In Franklin, Kansas, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Now, back then, about a third of the nation's coal came from Southeast Kansas. Well, the Missouri Southern State University Chorale Society held its annual holiday concert today at the First Community Church in Joplin. Now, this was the group's first concert in more than a year due to COVID. This was also the first concert for Melissa Belk, the group's new artistic director and conductor.
The excitement level is very high. We've worked so hard and had to postpone concerts that to finally get up and share our music with people is just a wonderful feeling.
Some of the songs performed included White Christmas and a medley of Irving Berlin songs, among many others. Well, Santa Claus is coming to town. In fact, Santa Claus came to Parsons today to the roof of Santa's Landing. Now, Santa made the visit, as he has for many years. In fact, Santa Landing, you see there, was created in 2015 to keep the tradition of seeing Santa on the rooftop in Parsons alive. For many years, families and children have enjoyed driving down Chess Street to find Santa waving and talking to every boy and girl.
I think it's kind of one of those things too that it started with something that, my husband and I both, we love Christmas, and it started with a crazy idea he had of, hey, let's do this, let's decorate for Christmas and display lights for our house, and it turned into a huge, this huge ordeal event that we have the community always talking about it from year to year.
There was free hot chocolate available, which is perfect for a chilly evening like tonight, and kids had the opportunity to write a letter to Santa and drop it in the Santa mailbox. We take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Lieutenant Colonel Greg Trotnick served in the Army in Iraq, his hometown, Pittsburgh. We're proud to recognize Lieutenant Colonel Greg Trotnick, tonight's four-state hero. And remember, to learn more about other heroes. If you've got one of your own that you'd like to nominate, you can do that anytime at KOAMNewsNow.com. Coming up on the KOAM News at 10, concerning news about rising food prices. Well, if you want to fly right through your flight check-ins this Christmas, TSA says don't get too wrapped up when you bring gifts. The agency has some words for the wise when it comes to flying around Christmas. If you want to save yourself and TSA agents time and headaches when it comes to bringing gifts, don't bring them wrapped. TSA says put those gifts in bags or gift boxes to allow for easier checkout if they set off alarms. Travel volumes will be near pre-pandemic levels this December. TSA also recommends travelers enroll in TSA PreCheck to cut down on time spent waiting in line. Well, we've talked about it here locally, and this could be a problem nationwide as some states might end up getting plowed under this winter by not having enough drivers to operate some important equipment. State departments of transportation say they may not have enough drivers to operate snow plows. Washington, Pennsylvania, Montana, and Wyoming, among others, report having trouble finding enough drivers who have a commercial driver's license. Plowing jobs require it and are also often comparatively low paying and entail working some odd hours in dangerous conditions. Shortage could mean more drivers end up stuck on snowy highways or have their holiday travel delayed. Friday, winter storms dumped snow from the Intermountain West to the upper Great Lakes. If food prices seem particularly high these days, you're right. In fact, consumer food prices in the U.S. have jumped to their highest levels in nearly 40 years. On Friday, the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that over the 12 months ending in November, food prices at restaurants jumped nearly 6%, the highest jump since 1982. And for those hoping to curb spending by cooking at home, grocery prices are also at record highs, jumping nearly 6.5% during that same time period. That's the largest 12-month increase since December of 2008, with beef prices seeing a dramatic 20.9% spike. The big increases can be attributed to, in part, by higher pandemic-related costs for commodities, labor, and transportation. Later on the KOAM News at 10, we're going to take a look at the weekend box office. And Nick Kelly's going to be up with a look at that forecast. It's been pretty nice. Is it going to stay that way? He'll tell you.
It was nice that we kept things quiet once again for today. Nice way to wrap up the weekend after we had to start things off with that potent cold front that gave us showers Friday morning and all sorts of rain and thunderstorms late in the afternoon and into the evening. We were quiet the other day. We were quiet today. We're still looking quiet as we go deeper into the night. The last look we had of indigo sky outside of Seneca, Missouri showed, again, sky staying nice and quiet. And that's how it'll look across the entire area as we get your Monday underway. Well, over the past 36 hours, we had temperatures topping out in the upper 40s the other day, not almost to 50 degrees. Once we got past a cold start this morning, upper 20s near 30 degrees, everybody catapulted into at least the mid-50s, certainly dropping regional, topped out at 55 this afternoon. As far as what to expect for the rest of this week, I am watching some more rain and thunderstorm chances lining up. Fortunately, I don't see any of these being severe, but these are still rain and storm chances we'll keep an eye on since we're going back into a bit of an active part of Doug's pattern. Despite that, we are going to be mild for a good portion of the week until we hit next weekend. Then following Friday's front, it's going to be quite colder, with certainly Saturday looking like the coldest of the days of the weekend. Well, again, we'll break it all down as we roll along, but 7th and Range Line, we're still looking quiet as we go deeper into our late Sunday night going into Monday morning. Everybody started out cold, though, upper 20s to lower 30s this morning. Then that southerly wind did the trick, along with sunny skies, pushing us into the mid-50s across the entire region today. Not a bad rebound. And we've been holding primarily in the upper 30s to lower 40s throughout a good portion of this late Sunday night. Wish it was Saturday night again, but we're going to continue on. This southerly breeze was strong throughout the day at 10 to 20, gusts higher than that. But even though this breeze has lightened up, even though we have mostly clear skies on top, temperatures are going to hold steady as we go through the overnight, and then they're going to really take off again once we get past sunrise tomorrow. The reason why for the strong south wind, this area high pressure, even though it's deep into the Carolinas, it is doing the job keeping that southerly breeze in place. Our next frontal system, well to the northwest of us, and we got to wait until about Wednesday or Thursday before it rolls and just tries to change things up a bit. In the short term, though, until we can get these upper level lows that come our way, this building up a ridge in the Gulf of Mexico, that's what's sending the jet stream back to the north. That's what's going to send us mild for the next few days at the very least, and that does apply for your Monday. Before we go into a mild Monday afternoon, though, we got to start cold, though. Thankfully, not as cold as this morning. Overnight lows will primarily drop near 39 degrees across much of the area, especially downtown Joplin. Then we're going to go quickly into the upper 50s by noon and push 63 for a high for Joplin Friday afternoon. How about Monday afternoon with that south wind at 10 to 15? Can rule out some gusts of 25 at times as well. The jet streams to the north on Tuesday. That will mean highs in the 70s, despite mostly cloudy skies and maybe a few showers trying to sneak in. Another system by the midweek. That's the cold front coming in with this upper level low passing by. Maybe some scattered showers Wednesday afternoon, but I'm thinking a better shot for thunderstorms late Wednesday night into Thursday. That will pass on through. Then we've got another quick system with thunderstorms on Friday. And depending on if any moisture is still around as temperatures drop off, that system could end as maybe a quick rain snow mix for Saturday morning. But temperatures are all over the place, Chris. 63 tomorrow, 68 Tuesday, 72 Wednesday, back to 52 Thursday, 60 on Friday, 36. That's the best we can do for Saturday. But at least Sunday's looking pretty good. Partly sunny, a salvageable day for the weekend. Highs near 43.
43, but we got to start at 26. We got to start off pretty darn chilly in order to get to that 43, but it'll make that 43 that much nicer.
Well, we got to keep in mind, though, 26 and 43, that's almost where we should be at this point in December.
That's true. That's true. Nick, thanks for reminding us of that.
You're welcome.
Coming up in sports, the Chiefs play the Raiders for the second and final time this regular season, and guess what? They beat the Raiders on the road. Now they're going to try and do it again at home. We'll have the highlights and post-game reaction coming up. Plus, a local athlete is returning to the four-state area to finish her volleyball career. We'll hear from Lexi Miller next.
This is the Toyota Sunday Night Sports Feed. The Kansas City Chiefs aim to stay rolling today in another AFC West matchup against Las Vegas. The Chiefs beat the Raiders once already this season, back in Week 10. First play from scrimmage, Josh Jacobs fumbles. Mike Hughes got it. He returns it 23 yards for the touchdown. And that's pretty much indicative of how this game goes for the Raiders. The Chiefs' defense forces 5 turnovers in the game, and the offense rolls as well. McCole Hardman, 44-yard pickup here. Later in that same drive, Mahomes hits Darrell Williams, 23 yards for the score. Chiefs up 14-0. Second quarter, Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets in from 5 yards out. Then right before half, he's back to it. His second touchdown of the day here. With the ball again now, Mahomes connects with Tyreek Hill deep downfield. Chiefs settle for the field goal. Fourth quarter, Derek Gore breaks loose for the 51-yard touchdown. The Chiefs roll by the Raiders 48-9.
I think as a unit, we're just trying our best to get better, each and every week, and really give our offense as many possessions, as possible. I thought we've been doing a great job just getting to the quarterback and then taking the ball away. So, which both of those things, results most of the time in Patrick getting the ball back. So that's really just been our mindset, just trying our best to be a unit that complements the rest of the team.
Lexi Miller, a 2018 graduate from Carl Junction, is returning to the four-state area. Miller signed with Pittsburgh State Volleyball for her final year of eligibility. During her high school career, she was a 3-time first-team all-conference performer and a 2-time all-district performer, and she earned all-state recognition in 2017. She went on to play 4 years of Division I volleyball at the University of Central Arkansas. Miller is excited to spend her last season in a gorilla uniform and be closer to home.
I entered the portal, and then within like 3 days I got a phone call and said, "So you want to be a gorilla?" And I was like, yeah, definitely, like no question about it. I was actually really excited whenever Pitt kind of reached out, because I knew that like going back home and then like being from CJ, playing for CJ, and then being able to represent like this area playing for a college level also, again, really is nice to show the little girls that like play know that it's possible.
That brings us to our one and only break in the Toyota Sunday Night Sports Feed. Still ahead, Oklahoma aims to make a statement against 12th ranked Arkansas. Highlights from Saturday's matchup next. Welcome back to the Toyota Sunday Night Sports Feed. The Missouri Southern men and women had a light week this past week with just one game on their schedule, a conference matchup against Rogers State on Saturday. Both teams picked up wins and are a perfect 3-0 in MIAA play. Lacey Stokes led Missouri Southern over Rogers State with 18 points and 8 assists. Lane Skiles had a season-high 16 points. Stan Scott also with the season best this weekend. He dropped 26 in the Lions win and added 10 rebounds. The PSU women returned from a 2-game road trip with 2 wins. Pittsburgh State improves to 7-2 on the season, following a win over Northeastern State on Saturday. In Saturday's game, the Gorillas were led by Sydney Crane with 16 points and 6 rebounds. Tristan Gegg finished with 13 points and 4 assists. The men fell to the Riverhawks this weekend, but Antonio Givens had a nice day, 10 points, 12 rebounds. Cameron Hoofner followed with 9 points and 8 boards. Arkansas and Oklahoma met on Saturday at a neutral site in Oklahoma, a preview of what will soon be an SEC matchup. The 12th-ranked Razorbacks aim to protect their undefeated record. In transition, Umoja Gibson buries the 3, Razorbacks down by 10 early. Chris Likes drives the lane and hits the floater. Arkansas trying to cut their deficit a bit, but next possession, Gibson answers with another triple. Later, Groves takes the pass and hits one more. Sooners up 6 at half. JD Note to Adis Tony for the dunk, but it's more long range from the Sooners. Oklahoma hands Arkansas their first loss, 88-66. In the NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder aim to bounce back after a loss to the Lakers on Friday. The Thunder hosting the Mavericks this evening. Dallas gets the road win 103-84. Shea finishes with a team-high 18 points. We're back right after this.
Was West Side Story able to dance its way to the top of the box office? David Daniel has our early estimates on the weekend's top 5 films.
Eternals made $3.1 million for 5th place and a domestic total of $161 million. House of Gucci fell to 4th with a fashionable $4.1 million. Ghostbusters Afterlife took 3rd with $7.1 million, reaching $112 million domestic.
Oh, Mirabel didn't get one.
After 2 weekends on top, Encanto fell to 2nd, but $9.4 million gave the animated musical a domestic total of $71 million.
Tonight, it all began tonight. I saw you and the world went away.
West Side Story debuted with $10.5 million, well below expectations, but enough to claim the weekend crown. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Yeah, it's always fun to look at some of the great movies that are out there. It just reminds me we got to get to the movie theater at some point. We'll have to plan a family movie night.
I know. I liked the Phantom of the Opera when it came out to theaters, so West Side Story's got to be another good musical to big screen premiere.
It certainly looks like it. And something that's looking pretty good, at least for the next few days, that forecast of yours.
Yeah, certainly temperatures staying mild for the next few days, that's for sure. And we'll stay quiet for Monday. Highs are 63, 68 on Tuesday, and 72 on Wednesday. That's despite us going back into the active part of Doug's pattern with rain and some thunderstorm chances to keep an eye on.
Something to watch. Nick, thank you so much. That is our time for now. We'll see you back here next weekend. Thanks for making us part of your night.